Welcome to the Equipped Disciple channel. My name is Rick McClatchy. We are here to be and to make disciples of Jesus, and we do that through daily devos, through Sunday sermons, and through other discipleship resources. We are here to equip you. All right, welcome in, everybody. We are jumping into building a Bible habit in 2026, and we are going to be in Mark chapter 9. I am excited. I'm really enjoying it. And I think that obviously building a Bible habit is a solid thing to do. It is, of course, this one is a long chapter, and we want to keep with the rhythm of one chapter a day. So without further ado, I think we're going to just jump right in. For a little bit, I'm going to just throw the whole, just the text on the screen here so that we can see it best. So verse 1 of chapter 9 of the book of Mark, then he said to them, "Truly I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the kingdom of God come in power." After 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, the big three, and he led them up a high mountain by themselves to be alone. He was transfigured in front of them, and his clothes became dazzling and extremely white, as no launderer on earth could whiten them. I mean, I knew this one guy at a laundromat. I don't really know anybody that could do it better than that. Elijah appeared to them with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. And Peter said to Jesus, "Rabbi, it's good for us to be here. Let's put up 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah." Now Peter meant well, right? Like he's just, the next verse actually says, because he did not know what to say since they were terrified. So, Peter means well. But Jesus is looking at him like, no, we're not going to make me equal with Elijah and equal with Moses. Like, I'm different. And so Elijah, represents the prophets from the Old Testament, and Moses represents the law. And so you kind of have like the entire Old Testament, symbolically meeting with Jesus. So this is the old covenant connecting up with the creator of the new covenant. And so verse 7 says, "A cloud appeared overshadowing them, and a voice came from the cloud. 'This is my beloved son, listen to him.' Suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone with them except Jesus." So the voice comes to clarify, no. Jesus isn't like Moses, and he's not like the prophets. He's not like Elijah. He is the Son of God. Suddenly looking around, they saw no one around them except with Jesus. As they were coming down the mountain, he ordered them to tell no one what they had seen until the Son of Man had risen from the dead. They kept this word to themselves, questioning, what does rising from the dead mean? How many things can it mean? But what do I know? Then they asked him, "Why do the scribes say that Elijah must come first?" That comes out of Malachi chapter 4. "Elijah does come first and restores all things," he replied. "Why then is it written that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be treated with contempt? But I tell you that Elijah has come, and they did whatever they pleased to him, just as it is written about him. When they came to the disciples, they saw a large crowd around them, and the scribes disputing with them. When the whole crowd saw him, they were amazed and ran to greet him. And he asked them, 'What are you guys arguing about?' No, what are you arguing with them about?" Someone from the crowd answered him, "Teacher, I brought my son to you. He has a spirit that makes him unable to speak. Whenever it seizes him, it throws him down, and he foams at the mouth and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. I asked your disciples to drive it out, but they couldn't." He replied to them, "You unbelieving generation, how long will I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring him to me." So they brought the boy to him. When the spirit saw him, it immediately threw the boy into convulsions. He fell to the ground, rolled around, foaming at the mouth. "How long has this been happening to him?" Jesus asked his father. "From childhood," he said. "And many times it has thrown him into the fire or water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. And Jesus said to him, if you can, like, man, drop that in the comments right now. If you can, ? No, Jesus can. Jesus, drop that in the comments. That's better. Jesus can. Jesus can. He's like, if you can, everything is possible for the one who believes. Immediately, the father of the boy cried out, I do believe. Help my unbelief, Jesus. Like, and man, I just so appreciate this father's cry there, because he's there desperately wanting his son to be made whole again. Like his future is riding on this boy. I mean, there's so much that goes, just obviously the love of the father. All of these things tied up in his son, and his son has been tormented basically from, early childhood here. And so he says, I do believe, but help my unbelief. Help that part of me that can't imagine things are going to change. And I think that's an interesting thing for you and I to consider. Are you stuck in the middle of something that has been the same for so long that you can't even begin to think about what could it look like for it to be different? I want to encourage you that Jesus can. That man, everything is possible for the one who believes. And so you can come to Jesus and you can say, look, I believe in you. I believe you are good. I believe you are powerful. But help those parts of me that are struggling to believe. And Jesus is so gracious and so compassionate. All right. So when Jesus saw, verse 25, when Jesus saw that a crowd was quickly gathering, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, you mute and deaf spirit, I command you, come out of him and never enter him again. I love that. Then it came out, shrieking, and threw him into terrible convulsions. The boy became like a corpse, so that many said, oh, he's dead, But Jesus, taking him by the hand, raised him and stood up. He stood up, and after he had gone into the house, his disciples asked him privately, why couldn't we drive it out? And he told them, this kind can come out by nothing but prayer. And some manuscripts actually say and fasting. So there's a little bit of debate there. I don't see any harm in throwing in the fasting part. I definitely think that fasting is a critical piece there. But really the prayer part, the relationship, the staying connected to the power source, right, to God. Then they left that place and made their way through Galilee, but he did not want anyone to know it. For he was teaching his disciples and telling him, the Son of Man is going to be betrayed into the hands of men, and they will kill him. But after he is killed, he will rise 3 days later. So, man, painting it out, right? Like laying it out for him. But they did not understand this statement, and they were afraid to ask him. They came to Capernaum when he was in the house, and he asked them, what were you arguing about on the way? And they were silent, because on the way they had been arguing with one another about who was the greatest. How embarrassing. Sitting down, he called the 12, and he said to them, if anyone wants to be first, he must be last and servant of all. Come on. That's the kingdom view right there. If you want to be first, you got to be last, and you got to be the servant of all. So the kingdom, you are not made great by climbing yourself to the top and dominating people and whatever. So he took a child, had him stand among them, and taking him in his arms, he said to them, whoever welcomes one little child such as this in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me does not welcome me, but him who sent me. And John said to him, teacher, we saw someone driving out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him because he wasn't following us. Don't stop him, said Jesus, because there is no one who will perform a miracle in my name who can soon afterwards speak evil of me. And whoever is not against us is for us. I think that's a powerful one for us to remember as well, how Jesus was not territorial. Okay. He was not territorial. He was not afraid of other people, contributing to the work. He just said, hey, if they don't know me, it's not going to last. Like, they're not going to be able to make it happen. And whoever gives you a cup of water to drink in my name, because you belong to Christ, truly I tell you, he will never lose his reward. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to fall away, it would be better for him if a heavy millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea. And if your hand causes you to fall away, cut it off. And it's better for you to enter life maimed than to have two hands and go to hell, the unquenchable fire. And if your foot causes you to fall away, cut it off. For it's better for you to enter life lame than to have 2 feet and be thrown into hell. Take drastic measures to get away from sin, right? Because, man, Jesus is just saying, like, sin will destroy you. And so, man, it's kind of like how amputations work in the medical field. If you get something that gets so infected, it's like, man, that is going to spread to your whole body. So we better cut off that finger, cut off that toe, whatever. We got to get rid of the part that is so infected it's destroying you. And so it's like, man, take drastic measures to get sin out of your life. I'm not talking about, actual, harming yourself kind of stuff, but we're just talking about, man, treat sin with the regard that it needs to be treated. It is serious. Sin leads to death all the time. So let's get that death out of our lives. If your eye causes you to fall away, gouge it out. It's better you to enter the kingdom of God with one eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into hell, where the worm does not die and the fire is not quenched, for everyone will be salted with fire. Salt is good, but if the salt should lose its flavor, how can you season it? Have salt among yourselves and be at peace with one another. So we want to be the salt and the light, like Jesus uses those 2 examples of the way that we are supposed to operate in the world. And salt is it's purifying, right? It makes stuff, like kills bacteria and stuff, but also it preserves things, right? It helps keep things from spoiling. And so we want to be people, and also it brings out the flavor, right? It makes things more flavorful. So think about if part of your job was to help bring more flavor to the gospel, to make it make more sense because you bring it to life, right? You bring the flavor of the gospel to life by the way that you live your life, by the saltiness of your life. So I just want to encourage you today, if you can, right? Like, anything is possible for him who believes that with Jesus, all things are possible. And if it's one of those situations where you're like, I believe, help my unbelief, that part of me that just can't happen to see anything ever changing, I want to encourage you that it can change. God can step in and change that situation. So continue to believe and continue to behave as if what God has said is true. So with that, just a big hearty God bless you. Let's take some drastic measures in our lives, right? To get rid of sin, to live lives of holiness as we spend time in God's presence, because it's all by the power of God. All right. God bless you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.
If you're getting value out of these videos, if you could just make sure you hit the like button, maybe subscribe to the channel. You could share the video around, and also YouTube is suggesting a video right about here for you to check out. So go ahead and check out the next video. God bless you. Have a great day. Thanks for being a part.